You're listening to Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.
News Talk 1270.
Call Don right now, 682-1270.
News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter Show. I want to thank you for joining us this morning. And in studio, in studio we have Paul Jarvis and Rick Clark from the Bighorn Mountain Festival over in Buffalo. That's going on this weekend. And gentlemen, thank you for coming in and talking with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Don.
Thanks.
Yeah, so just for those that might not be familiar, like me, since I'm new to the area, tell us a little bit about how the festival got started and how long you guys have been doing this.
Well, this is our ninth annual festival. It'll occur July 12, 13, and 14, just a weekend after this. And we have a bunch of musicians that got together and had fun playing together over the years. And we decided 9 years ago, let's start a festival. And so we've got a great acoustic festival that lasts for 3 days. Starts on a Friday, ends on a Sunday afternoon. And we try to bring in the best bands we can afford to do main stage performances. We have workshops. We have instrument contests. We do this all at the Johnson County Fairgrounds in Buffalo, Wyoming. And we got camping, RV camping, tent camping, and lots of parking lot picking going on.
Yes, so I mean, this is this is something that a lot of people can participate in as well, not just coming to see the bands, but there's a lot of participatory stuff going on.
Absolutely, we've got lots of folks that bring their instruments, like to pick with one another. We have some folks that come probably don't even watch the main stage performances, and they're back in the campgrounds picking with each other. So we have a lot of fun. With the folks that participate, and we got workshops going on Saturday. Those are workshops for those that play an instrument. There's workshops for those who don't even play an instrument. So there's fun for everyone. Lots of food vendors, craft vendors will be there.
And for those that might not be familiar, I mean, what kind of music would everybody expect to see here?
Well, this is old-time, traditional, bluegrass, folk, Americana music. It's hard to put anything into a specific category. We have a very diverse group of musicians coming this year. We got 13 folks up on the bill. We have the Byron Berline Band, one of the greatest fiddlers of all time, Byron Berline out of Guthrie, Oklahoma, former national fiddle champ. Don Edwards, the great cowboy singer. So if you love cowboy music, traditional cowboy music, you can't beat that. The Quaby Sisters Band, I think probably the hottest Texas swing band out there today, is going to be at our festival. Houston Jones, which it's hard to describe their kind of music. They come out of the Bay Area of San Francisco and play a mix of traditional. They'll have a few electrical instruments. They'll have a trap set. And Honey Dewdrop's a husband and wife duo that has some of the sweetest sounding vocals you'll ever hear.
Now, I know the Americana type music. I don't know, maybe about 5 or 10 years ago, and that was a really big thing. I mean, are you still seeing that it's still a really popular genre?
It really is, and Americana is a term I think that's an all-inclusive term for this acoustic, traditional, folk type of music. It's hard to categorize some of these great musicians anymore. We had Tim O'Brien at the festival 4 or 5 years ago, and Tim's one of the great folk musicians out there, and he's been described as Americana, although he's played in a pure bluegrass band like Hot Rye. So, yeah, it's a good term to, pin on some of these groups that they aren't going to be rock and roll, they aren't going to be jazz, but they're Americana.
Right. It's basically, I guess, just a unique American sound. I mean, I mean, everything sounds a little bit different, but it's all an American sound.
It is.
It's I guess I don't know if the term roots music kind of applies to it, but it's that kind of music.
It does, and you hear that term roots Americana a lot.
Yeah. So let's actually take a listen to a couple clips before we take our first break. Where should we start at?
Well, why don't you start with that first track we've got with Byron Berline Band.
Okay.
And
Oklahoma Stomp.
And let me just add a little something about Byron Berline. Byron has recorded with, listen to these groups. I'm going to read them because there's so many of them. Byron has recorded with the Rolling Stones, Honky Tonk Women, if you're familiar with that song. He helped record the Eagles, the band, the Byrds, Elton John, Alabama, Mary Chapin Carpenter, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Rod Stewart, John Denver, Earl Scruggs, Emmylou Harris, Linda Ronstadt, Tammy Wynette, Mason Williams, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, and Vince Gill.
So pretty much everybody that's anybody he's recorded with.
Yeah, and that's how good he is, and those kind of bands have through the years have wanted him recording on their cuts, and he's just awesome.
Okay, let's take a listen to this track. It's called Oklahoma Stomp, the Byron Berline Band. And that's the Byron Berline Band, the Oklahoma Stomp. I guess, does he play slide or is...
You will hear a little slide. Byron Berline has a big band. There's 7 people in Byron's band. He comes out of Guthrie, Oklahoma, and they have all sorts of instrumentation. One of the fellows that's coming along with his band this year is Barry Patton, sometimes known as Barry Bones Patton, and he plays cowbones. You ever seen anyone play cowbones? This is the guy to watch because he is fantastic. And on Saturday afternoon, Barry's going to do a workshop on playing the bones. So if you don't play a musical instrument and you want to learn something quick and simple, come on over to the festival because you can learn to play the bones from Barry.
Yeah, and I also understand you guys have you even have stuff going on for the kids as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
We do. We have bluegrass camps for kids. This is the 3rd year that we've been doing that right in front of the festival. As I said earlier, the festival is July 12, 13, and 14. And so leading into the festival, July 10, 11, and 12 is 3 days of bluegrass camps for kids. And that is sponsored by the Johnson County Arts and Humanities Council. It is for children ages 9 to 18. There are 35 spots open for the camp this year. 29 of those are filled right now, so there are 6 spots left. So if you know someone that might have an interest in getting their child into the camp, you can go right on to our website, bighornmountainfestival.com. There is a link for the camp page, and you can get the online form right there. So we'll take registrations all the way up to the festival if necessary, but probably sometime this week I think those are going to be filled.
Yeah, so you definitely don't want to wait on that one. We're up against our first break, so let's listen to a clip of another song, and actually we'll come out of break with one as well. So where should we go from here?
Why don't we why don't we do that number 2 track with Don Edwards? And Don is our great cowboy artist, and let's listen to that.
Okay, Don Edwards. Okay, if I can get the computer to work. Here we go.
What's become of the punchers we rode with long, long ago? The hundreds and hundreds of cowboys we all of us used to know. Sure, some were killed by lightning, some when the cattle run, and others were killed by horses, and some by the old 6-gun. Those that worked out on the roundup, those of the brand and pen, those who went out on that long trail drive, never to return again. We know of some who have prospered, we know of some who are broke. My old partner made millions in Denver, while I've got my saddle in soak.
For the latest on the show, follow Don on Facebook. Just search for Don Carpenter Radio. News Talk 1270 KIML.
Shame, shame on you. Shame, shame on you. Gave my heart as a token. In return, it was broken. Hide your face. Shame on you. Shame, shame on you. Shame, shame on you. Took my car and my money, done me wrong, and that ain't funny. Woe is me. Shame on you.
And that's the Quaby Sisters Band. I got the pronunciation right this time. Shame on you. And they'll be playing at the Bighorn Mountain Festival. And we're speaking with Rick Clark and Paul Jarvis from the Bighorn Mountain Festival going on over in Buffalo. So it's not that far away. It's next weekend. And during the break, you mentioned you wanted to kind of mention a couple of other things before we start getting into, I guess, a couple more of the artists.
Yeah, thanks, Don. I'd like to talk just a little bit more about the camp. As I told you earlier, it's for ages 9 to 18. It's for the 3 days in front of the festival, July 10, 11, and 12. And whether your child is experienced with a musical instrument or has never even played a musical instrument at all, this camp is for them. And Fenders and Youngberg, one of the bands that's going to be performing on the main stage during the festival, is the camp band. They are an actual working, performing band, and they'll be the instructors for these children. And they'll divide up into groups, and they'll get a chance to play whatever acoustic instrument they want to play. Guitar, mandolin, banjo, fiddle, bass. There'll be some vocal workshops for these kids. And like I say, they don't even have to have any experience in playing a musical instrument. At the end of the camp, they're going to perform on the main stage of the festival on Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Oh, wow. So they get it's a big crash course then. I mean, they just get thrown right into it, huh?
It is a crash course, and they become main stage performers by the end. So, as I indicated, you can go right onto our website, bighornmountainfestival.com, find the link over to the camp, and fill out the registration form if you have a child that's interested in doing that. But it's a great, great way to get them introduced to acoustic music. And, you know, talking about that, the band we just heard, the Quaby Sisters, 3 young sisters, triple fiddles. And these kids started out just like that, you know, playing together as kids 6 to 9 years of age. eventually getting better and better. I think the youngest is still in high school now. They've been kind of popular in the Texas swing circles here for a while, but they're all young kids and cute as can be. And I've never seen better triple fiddle playing.
Oh wow, yeah, and I mean the harmonies are just unbelievable.
And they got great voices. They're great harmonizers. That's true.
Yeah. So now, just in case anybody's wondering, we'll actually get the information out a couple times about tickets. But if they want to get tickets, how do they get them?
They can get those right here in Gillette at Haggerty's Music Works, or you can get them in Buffalo at the Sports Lure or Buffalo Chamber of Commerce, or you can go right online and buy them online at BighornMountainFestival.com. You can also buy them at the gate. And Johnson County Fairgrounds is a big venue. We've never sold out, so if you don't get your tickets early, fine, come on over to Buffalo. Just come to the fairgrounds, and we'll get you in there.
And you can get a 3-day pass, or you can get individual day passes. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to do that.
Absolutely, and if you get your 3-day pass in advance, there is a $10 discount. It's $75 for the 3-day pass if you buy that prior to the festival. If you come to the gate, it'll be $85. The Friday pass is $35. The Saturday pass $50, and Sunday $25. But the best deal is to get that 3-day pass in advance.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it sounds like the pretty much, judging by the looks like it. Friday is going to be 1 to 10 p.m. performances. Saturday, I guess it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. and then Sundays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I mean, it's pretty packed, I guess, the entire weekend.
We've got a lot going on. One of the things I haven't mentioned yet is that we have instrument contests that are going on Saturday morning. Those will kick off on the main stage at 9 a.m. with the Old Time Fiddle Championship. And we are the state championship site for both the mandolin and the banjo. The winners in those two categories get a ticket to Winfield to enter the contest in the National Flat Picking Championship, which is held each September. But whoever wins those contests are the state champions for the state of Wyoming. And we also have a mandolin contest, or I'm sorry, guitar contest, and we also have the fiddle contest. The fiddle player also gets a ticket to Winfield. So that's a pretty big deal. I mean, you usually get a pretty good turnout for that. We do. We have a lot of interest in the championships, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Some good pickers.
And we have a former Walnut Valley National, and that is the premier National Flat Picking Championship at Winfield at Walnut Valley, and we have one planned. Jeff Troxel from Cody lives here, and he's won that, and he comes over, and we've had him every year. So he's a very, very fine guitar player.
Oh yeah, and it just sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, I was able to get out to Donkey Creek over the last weekend. I'm definitely going to make it out to Buffalo for this one, and I haven't been to Buffalo yet.
Well, hopefully you got to see the Jalon Crossland band that played over at Donkey Creek this last weekend. Jalon's going to be playing at our festival. He's going to be appearing solo on Friday afternoon, and then with his entire band on Saturday and Sunday. And Jalon will also be giving a workshop on Saturday. So we're excited to have some great musicians in Wyoming, such as Jalon Crossland, Jeff Troxel, as Rick just mentioned, and they're a big part of our festival.
So it's not just big national acts, but you also have the best local acts as well.
We do.
Yeah, and with that, we're up against the bottom of the hour break. Let's pick another track to. Where should we go from here?
Well, let's try Melody Walker's tune here, which I believe is going to be number 7.
Number 7, Melody Walker. Okay, we'll get this started. News Talk 1270 KIML.
night and day, picking like the Dickens the whole damn way, shining our love out from every stage. Well, I wanna play every night and day.
Event you'd like to promote on the show? Email Don at doncarpenter@basonsradio.com.
Some things we know, and some things we feel, and sometimes we learn what's right and what's real. A river bends, a place to start, a crimson wheel and a calico heart. The wheel turned around by the river bend, and that's how you mend a calico heart.
News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter's show. And that was Houston Jones with Calico Heart. He's going to be playing at the Bighorn Mountain Festival coming up next weekend in Buffalo. And if you're just joining us in studio, we have Paul Jarvis and Rick Clark telling us about the festival. And I understand you guys are looking for some volunteers as well.
We are, Don. Volunteer is an excellent way to get some free tickets for the festival. And our volunteer coordinator is Lisa Griffith, and you can go right on to our website, bighornmountainfestival.com. There's a little button on the left-hand side. If you want to volunteer, push that, and you can fill out a form online. For 4 hours of volunteer work at the festival, you get a day ticket. And for 8 hours of volunteer work at the festival, you get a full 3-day pass. And we do that because we need lots of folks to help put this festival on. It usually takes about 150 volunteers, sometimes a little bit more, to actually put on this festival and make it all come off well.
And that's people helping parking and that kind of stuff, right? Taking tickets and
yeah, all areas of the festival we need volunteers for, whether it be the gate, the parking, security, hospitality. There's lots of opportunities for help.
Yeah, not only is it a good way to get a free ticket, but it's also I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of fun as well. I mean, everybody's just there to have fun.
That's true. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about maybe some of the other artists that might be of interest to everybody listening?
Absolutely. Well, let me just mention these last two groups we heard before and after the break. Right after the break is Houston Jones. Houston Jones is a band that folks around here hadn't heard of. We brought them into the festival last year. They were one of the favorite performers last year. These guys are fantastic to watch. Fantastic to listen to, but fantastic to watch. They kind of look like the Grateful Dead, and sometimes sound a little bit like the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I kind of
just heard.
Yeah, I kind of got that kind of vibe from them. It's definitely a Dead kind of vibe.
But like I say, they came out of the Bay Area. And this last year was their first year to this part of the country, and they absolutely loved it, and they love the fact that they're coming back to the festival again. Again, like I say, in 2012, this is one of our favorite groups on our surveys after the festival, and it's hard to describe their music. That certainly is Americana. It isn't bluegrass, it isn't traditional, it isn't cowboy, but some great music. And right before the break was another group from California, Melody Walker and Jacob Groupman, just a duo. Jacob is actually going to be our camp director for Bluegrass Camps for Kids. So he's coming early. Melody's coming a little bit later. Melody is a great singer in her own right. And together they just put on a fantastic sound. And I think I mentioned we try to bring in the best groups that we can for our budget, and a lot of these folks you may never have heard of, you may not have heard on local radio, but I think if you come, you're gonna fall in love with these folks.
Oh yeah, and I think festivals like this are kind of a good place to discover new bands because, like you said, you really don't hear it on the radio anymore. I mean, there's always the internet and iTunes and things, but for the most part, you don't really hear this. And I'm not bashing radio because that's what I do. But I guess I can a little bit because I don't do music radio. But you really don't hear this kind of stuff on. You might hear it on a college station somewhere, but that's about it.
Right.
And it's definitely a good place to get exposed to something that you might not have heard before, and that's always good for anybody. That's
true. It'll expand your universe.
Yeah, that's always that's that's why I like to go to these kind of things because I grew up mostly on like old 70s country. That's all my parents listened to, and then of course I rebelled when I was in high school. I rebelled listening to heavy metal bands and that kind of stuff, and going back to it now, it's kind of reminds me of my childhood, and it's really cool to hear new music like that.
That's true. You'll find a lot of stuff you'll like that you will listen to again and again.
Yeah. So let's actually, we're not up against a break yet, but let's try to get in another song. Let's see. Who should we go with next?
Well, let's try another one of these tunes from the Quavy Sisters band, Roly Poly. That's going to be number 13, and again, this is that triple fiddle threat from the Quavy Sisters out of Austin, Texas.
Everything from soup to hay. Oh, roly poly, daddy's little fatty. Betty's gonna be a man someday.
And that's the Quavy Sisters band. It's definitely it's a fun sound. Yeah, I mean it's upbeat and it's it definitely sounds like America, which is the idea of the whole weekend, basically.
It is. It'll make you want to dance, which is another thing I'd like to mention too. We have an old time dance that's going on Saturday night. One of our bands, Pick and Holler, is going to have a dance workshop on Saturday afternoon. I think it's around 4:30 in the afternoon, and then we'll have a dance that starts at 10:30 after the last main stage performance. And that dance will go on as long as people want to dance. It's going to be held in the community building there at the fairgrounds. We're going to have a dance caller who's experienced in calling with live bands, and so bring your dancing shoes.
Oh, so it's going to be like square dancing.
Square dancing, contra dancing, old-time traditional dancing.
Oh, wow.
And they'll probably try several different styles.
Wow, yeah. I actually remember we had square dancing lessons when I was in elementary and middle school, I guess, and it was always that was always fun because you get to dance with the girls, and that's always.
And you don't have to be experienced in dancing to participate in this. Certainly the workshop will help and maybe get you a little bit more comfortable before the dance. But if you've never danced before, just come, even if just to watch. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have 2 left feet, so I'd probably just watch. But watching can be fun too. So let's go to break with another one, and let's see. We're going to do one from Jelon Crossland, I guess.
Right. Jelon's a former Wyoming State flat pick champion, and he picks a Merle Travis style, and he's really, really good at it. And he's got a great voice, and he's very well known around the state. And just last year received the Wyoming Governor's Arts Award. So let's play some Jelon. This is called the Mill Whistle.
In the morning, long before the sun comes to shine, my Amanda in my arms, sleeping like a newborn child. Oh, Amanda, I can't stay with you a moment more. The boys are lining at the sugar mill door. Wake up, Amanda, kiss me once before the mill whistle blows. Oh, Mason Jones rolls his own, spits across the yard, says this mill and molasses is really getting way too hard. The rain won't fall, beets won't grow enough to pay the loan. Comes a time for moving on. Wake up.
If it's happening in Wyoming, he's talking about it. Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.
sits on Buttermilk Hill. Who could blame her, cry her fill, and every tear would turn a mill. Johnny's gone for a soldier. Me, oh my, she loved him so, could not bear to see him go, and only time will heal her woe. Johnny's gone for a soldier. fife and drum he marched away. Would not he?
News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter's show, and that was Jeff Troxel. And we're talking about the Bighorn Mountain Festival, in case you're just joining us. And we're talking with Paul Jarvis and I'm terrible with names.
Rick Clark.
Rick Clark. I even had it written down. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names. So I guess there were a couple more things we wanted to touch on. We only have a couple minutes, so we'll try to. I guess you mentioned you also have a raffle going on as well.
We do, Don, and we have a great guitar, CF Martin guitar, which I'll let Rick describe here in just a moment, that we're going to be raffling off at the festival. You can buy tickets anywhere from $5 to $20, depending on the number of tickets that you want. And all those proceeds go to Bluegrass Camps for Kids to help fund the camps for kids. And Hanson Music out of Billings, Montana, donated this guitar. And Rick, you've actually played the guitar. Tell the folks about it.
Yeah, it's a really fine Martin guitar. It truly is. It has great tone, great sound, great low ends, great mids. It's a beautiful instrument. Plus, the beauty's not just in the sound. It's Martin started making a sustainable wood guitar now, rather than using the exotic, woods that come from around the world that are about to go extinct. They're trying to encourage the people buying and they're producing instruments out of sustainable wood, and it's made out of. It has a spruce top, but it's made out of cherry, and it's really, really a beautiful guitar. And I was really shocked at the sound. It's just it kicks out a lot of sound. It's an $1,800 and some dollar guitar, and if you buy a $5 raffle ticket, you could win it.
Oh yeah, my dad's been wanting a Martin guitar. He had one when he was a kid, and I've been hearing about this since I was a kid. I think he said he had a D18. Sure. I think, and
really, those are nice.
I think he said he paid $50 for it at a pawn shop back in the 1950s, and he said that's the one regret he had in his life was selling that thing.
Yeah, the 1930s D18s are some of the most sought after.
I think it's like a $10,000
guitars in the world today.
Yeah, it's like a $10,000 guitar now or something,
or more.
Oh yeah, probably. Okay, we want to make sure we get out the information one more time. The tickets and where they can get the tickets and the website.
Yes, the website, Don, is bighornmountainfestival.com, and you can get tickets here in Gillette at Haggerty's, in Buffalo at the Sports Lure and Buffalo Chamber of Commerce, and in Billings at Hanson Music. And, of course, you can buy the tickets right at the gate. There's going to be plenty of room. We're going to have camping. We got RV hookups if you'd like to bring an RV over. We're going to have food vendors there. Just plan on spending the whole weekend at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, July 12, 13, and 14 in Buffalo, Wyoming for the Bighorn Mountain Festival. You might mention you're also selling tickets on Steve's store. So
I didn't know if I was allowed to mention that, but we will have tickets on Steve's store tomorrow. Or I guess on Friday. So definitely check that out. And I forget exactly what the discount on them there is, but it's pretty good. So there's plenty of ways to get the tickets. I want to thank Paul and Rick for coming in. BighornMountainFestival.com. It's next weekend. Make sure you check it out. And we're going to go into the last break with who do we have here?
Brian Berline.
Okay, there he goes. One of the headliners. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay tuned for Rush.
crazy conspiracies, just good local talk. Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.